कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदा नंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदा नंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीराचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरि जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिताय गौरनिताय पतित पावन गौरनिताय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5th, Chapter 7, entitled The Activities of King Bharata, Text 14. So we'll recite this. This is a poetry verse. Paro raja savitur jata vedo, paro raja savitur jata devasya bhargo manasedam jajana. सुरेत सादाः पुनराविश्य चष्टे हंसं गृध्राणं दृशद् हृङ्गिराम् इमः। परो रजः सवितुर्जातवेदो देवस्य भर्गो मनसेदं जजान। सुरेतसादः पुनराविश्य चष्टे हंसं गृध्राणं दृशद् हृङ्गिराम् इमः। परो रजः सवितुर्जातवेदो देवस्य भर्गो मनसेदं जजान। सुरेतसादः पुनराविश्य चष्टे हंसं गृध्राणं दृशद् हृङ्गिराम् इमः। Two devotees. परो रजः सवितुर्जातवेदो देवस्य भर्गो मनसेदं जजान। सुरेतसादः पुनराविश्य चष्टे हंसं गृध्राणं नुषदृङ्गिरामिमः। परो रजः सवितुर्जातवेदो पुनराविश्य चष्टे हंसं गृध्राणां दृशरिङ्गिरामिमः। Any Mataji's to try? परो रजः सवितुर्जातवेदो देवस्य भर्गो मनसेदं जजान। हंसं गृध्राणां. Word for one meaning. Pararajaha, beyond the mode of passion, situated in the pure mode of goodness. Savituhu, of the one who illuminates the whole universe. Jata Vedaha, from which all the devotees' desires are fulfilled. Devasya, of the Lord. Bhargaha, the self-effulgent. Manasa, simply by contemplating. Idam, this universe. Jajana, created. Suretasa, by spiritual potency. Adaha, this created world. Punaha, again. Avishya, Avishya, entering. Chaste, sees or maintains. Hamsam, the living entity. Grudhranam, desiring for material enjoyment. Nrushat, to the intelligence. Ringiram, to one who gives motion. Imaha, let me offer my obeisances. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness. He illuminates the entire universe and bestows all benedictions upon His devotees. The Lord has created this universe from His own spiritual potency. According to His desire, the Lord entered this universe as the super soul, and by the virtue of His different potencies, He is maintaining all living entities desiring material enjoyment. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the giver of intelligence. Purport. The predominating deity of the sun is another expansion of Narayan, who is illuminating the entire universe. The Lord enters the hearts of all living entities as the super soul, and He gives them intelligence and fulfills their material desires. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. I am sitting in everyone's heart. As the super soul, the Lord enters the hearts of all living entities. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. He enters the universe and the atom as well. In the Rig Veda, the predominating deity of sun is worshipped by this mantra. Dheyaha sada savritir mandala madhyavarti narayana sarasi jasana sannivishtaha. Narayan sits on his lotus flower within the sun. By reciting this mantra, every living entity should take shelter of Narayan just as sun rises. According to modern scientists, the material world rests on the sun's effulgence. Due to sunshine, all planets are rotating and vegetables are growing. We also have information that the moonshine helps vegetables and herbs grow. Actually, Narayan within the sun is maintaining the entire universe. Therefore, Narayan should be worshipped by the Gayatri mantra or the Rig mantra. Thus ends Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Activities of King Bharata. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitamscha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. So, welcome you all to this Tuesday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. First of all, I seek blessings of all exalted Vaishnavas here, that I can speak something relevant in parampara on this exalted topic of verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, for my own purification and for the glorification of Supreme Lord, and also for all of your pleasures sitting here. So I seek all of your blessings. So this verse today we recited, um, it has a connection with yesterday's verse also. This is the prayer offered by Bharat Maharaj to the Lord, who is residing in sun. Is a Narayan, Lord Narayan residing in sun, who is the worshipable deity of Bharat Maharaj. And he is offering, yesterday we saw that Bharat Maharaj is offering prayers. So this is the prayer which he has offered. So here Lord is glorified. He is paying respectful obeisances, and Lord is glorified with various qualities. The 5 qualities are mentioned. The first one is Paro Rajaha. He says Lord is situated beyond passion. That is, he is situated in pure goodness. So Paro Rajaha is the quality of Lord. And he illuminates the entire universe. That is Savituhu. That also comes in Gayatri Mantra, which Prabhupada quoted in the yesterday's purport. Savituhu. So he illuminates the entire universe. And then the third quality is Jata Vedaha. He gives benedictions to all his devotees. Varadaraj. He gives benedictions to all his devotees, is Jata Vedaha. He knows the desires of his devotees and he fulfills them. That is how he gives benedictions. Then the fourth quality is he has created and entered this universe by his own will. And by the virtue of his different potencies, he is maintaining all the living entities who are desiring material enjoyment. So he creates this universe and also he maintains this universe. He is the creator and the maintainer. That is mentioned. And the fifth one is mentioned as he gives motion to Jiva's intelligence. Drishad Ringiram. So he gives intelligence to Jiva. He has created this material world and Jivas have been sent here to, because of their material desires. Then Lord only gives them intelligence to fulfill those material desires. So he gives the motion to Jiva's intelligence to fulfill his desires. So this is how Bharat Maharaj is offering prayers to Lord. So this particular verse is the last verse of this chapter. The activities of Bharat Maharaj we saw in this. Jai Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. So because this is the last verse, we'll just very quickly recap this entire chapter, a few very quick lessons, and then we'll come to this verse. So in the first 4 verses of this chapter, after describing about Rishabh Dev in the previous section, now Bharat Maharaj's character is described. So first 4 verses we saw about the marriage of Bharat Maharaj, the progeny, how he begot 5 very, competent sons, and also his perfect rule over Bharatavarsha. That was described in the first 4 verses. In the third verse especially, it is mentioned that how this entire Bharatavarsha, this entire planet is known after this Bharat Maharaj. Earlier, it was known as Ajanabha Varsha. After Rishabdev, Ajanabha is the son of Nabhi, who is Rishabdev. So after his name, this Varsha is known as Ajanabha. But after Bharat Maharaj, this is known as Bharata Varsha. So that was mentioned in third verse. And the further verses, in 5th to 7th verse, we saw how Bharat Maharaj performed sacrifices in the consciousness of offering everything to Lord Vasudeva. So as the king, he had duty to perform various yajnas. But he's also pure devotee. So how is he performing those yajnas? He's thinking the different devatas whom he offering oblations as the part of Supreme Lord's body. They are limbs of Supreme Lord. And by doing so, even if he is doing karma in one sense, yajna, but his pure devotion is increasing to the Lord. So that is mentioned so that is his activities as king. Then 8th through 10th verse, we saw how after ruling for 10 million years as king, he retired to Pulahashram near Gandaki river flows where, and he completely absorbed himself in meditation on Lord Hari. So that's another symptom, another character of Bharat Maharaj's devotion to Lord. Although he was the great emperor of entire planet, entire Bharatavarsha, he left. Later on we will read towards the end of this pastime how he left Malavat, just like we flush in the morning. That's how he left his entire kingdom, all prosperity and everything. So, and then 11 to 14th verse, this section is describing how he worshipped Lord Narayan. He's completely absorbed in meditation. It is said in the 13th verse that he had no enthusiasm to perform daily duties. This is 12th verse. 12th verse, it said he had no enthusiasm to perform daily duties because his heart was melted with affection for the Lord. His hairs on his body stood on end. So his heart, he's so much affection to the Lord, his heart is melted. Tears are pouring from his eyes. He is on the Bhava platform, as Acharya has explained. In the 13th verse, it is said, with a vow to worship the Lord, his body shining with deer skin, his brown matted hair wet with his daily bath, he worshipped the golden Lord with a mantra dedicated to Vishnu in the sun, reciting it as the sun rose. So, with vow to worship the Lord, he is doing it. In the purport, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, to this 13th verse, he says, if Bharat Maharaj is on Bhava platform, then why should he chant mantras? That is sadhana bhakti. He's chanting some particular mantra repeatedly, like we do japa. So he's doing japa of this mantra. So why should he do it? He's on Bhava platform. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that thinking that his ecstatic symptoms were an obstacle and that his intelligence should not be covered by ecstasy, he began to worship the Lord using a mantra revealed by his intelligence. So he is thinking that ecstasy which he is experiencing, the great bhava, that emotions, tears and the hair standing on, and Bharat Maharaj is feeling that this is an obstacle in serving Krishna. My service is getting hampered because of this ecstasy. He's experiencing the great bhava and he's feeling, no, this is an obstacle. So why all this description is given? Actually, Shukadeva Goswami is a very, very amazing storyteller. Obviously, he has to. In using the Bhagavatam, different pastimes, Shukadeva Goswami, builds up the whole story in such a way that the lessons are very strongly imparted. And the stories are also very graphic and very strong. So here is a personality, Bharat Maharaj, who as a king is a pure devotee, thinking, when he's doing yajna, he's thinking direct oblation to the Supreme Lord, how absorbed he is. Then he's so attached to Krishna, he's so absorbed in Krishna, he's so absorbed in Lord Vishnu that just like a stool, he gives up his material kingdom And then when he is as a hermit in Pulaha ashram, he is so exalted devotee that even his own ecstasy he is cursing. He doesn't want the ecstasy of prema also. He just wants to please Lord Krishna. He just wants to serve the Lord. A similar example is given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu of Daruka, Lord Lord's charioteer and also servant. So when Daruka is fanning the Lord, some because of his ecstasy of prema, tears come in his eyes. And Daruka curses that tears. It is said he doesn't want that ecstasy because he is not able to serve properly. So that is a symptom of pure devotee. Pure devotion has two symptoms. One is the Ashta Sattvic Bhava. It is said by Rupa Goswami. The Ashta Sattvic Vikar, right? Like tears and perspiration and all this. And the second symptom is intense desire to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. So for a pure devotee, the second one is more important than the first one. That is what his Bharat Maharaj is. That is what Shukadeva Goswami is saying. He is on that platform, very exalted platform. So now, after this chapter, the next chapter will begin. That Bharat Maharaj got trapped. So why is the whole description of these 14 verses? Actually glorify his devotion, his level of, prema, his feeling, the exalted position of Bharat Maharaj. Right. So all these things Shukadeva Goswami is actually narrating, and then today's verse is actually offering such wonderful prayers to Lord, which we saw. So Shukadeva Goswami is narrating all this so that we can take the lesson very seriously, which this pastime has to describe. There are many, many wonderful lessons in the further pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, which we learn from this, which Shukadeva Goswami, which Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas are teaching from this episode of Bharat Maharaj. There are several very important lessons like alertness in bhakti. You should be very alert. You should be very cautious about Maya. Importance of association, importance of accountability. Many wonderful lessons will come in the further pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I believe, as the days progress, we will have wonderful discussions about this. But I am planning to focus on one particular subtle aspect of Bharat Maharaj's, what lesson we learn from here, from Bharat Maharaj's story. One of the things which is explained is, as everyone is well aware of the story, I'll go fast forward and, derive some lesson. So as we know that this great Bharat Maharaj, who is so absorbed, whose heart is melting with the affection for the Lord, he also got affectionate to a deer, a baby deer. And that affection became so extreme that he forgot this affection for the Lord completely. That's the graphic thing which is Shukadeva Goswami is mentioning. So when we hear this, we come to a conclusion. Sometimes. What is that? Or this materialistic feelings, emotions, affection, this should be given up by devotees. We should not have any feelings and emotions. Right? We should only have spiritual feelings, which is true. But that is the conclusion sometime, right? So we'll try to discuss a little bit for whatever time we have on this role of emotions in bhakti, role of feelings, because this Bharat Maharaj is experiencing a lot of feelings, but later those feelings got transformed into something else and he lost his bhakti temporarily. It was covered. So one extreme is to be indiscriminate, like what Bharat Maharaj did. He happened to indiscriminately apply those feelings or emotions, right, to the deer. So that is one extreme, going to extreme of indiscriminate application. Whereas another extreme is to be emotionless, to feel that there is no place for feelings and emotions in the realm of bhakti. So that's another extreme, right? So that is Srila Prabhupada calls it impersonalism, because there is no feelings. Prabhupada says, these impersonalistic people are so fearful of emotions and feelings that they want to give it up completely. So can that happen to devotee also? Instead of, because of, for the fear of entanglement, we may think that, there should not be any feelings only. There should not be any material emotions. And impersonalism is the number one enemy of Srila Prabhupada. Right? Number one enemy. Why Prabhupada is number one enemy? Because that is also number one enemy of devotion. So it is very important that we try to figure out if this kind of impersonalistic tendencies come also in our hearts in this association of devotees. So as I said, why I'm discussing this, one side which Bharat Maharaj is representing is an indiscriminate, unthoughtful application of emotions. Just get carried away by emotions, sentimental. He became sentimental. But there is another side where one can become impersonalistic. There is no feelings only. Very mechanical behavior, we can say. The mechanical way of behaving. So that is what we will try to discuss a little. So it is that bhakti is all about emotions, feelings. Srila Prabhupada, there are many wonderful quotes of Srila Prabhupada where Srila Prabhupada explains the role of emotions in bhakti. As a devotee, can we feel? Should we feel for another Vaishnava? Should we feel for someone? Srila Prabhupada says in 1st canto, 8th chapter, 42nd purport, 1.8.42, Prabhupada says, to cut off the tie of all affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. So, it does not mean, that you cut off, you negate the finer elements like affection for someone else. That is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others, because this is symptom of life. Prabhupada says, these feelings, emotions is a symptom of life. If feelings are not there, it is dead stone only. That's not, living. So this is symptom of life. The symptoms of life such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, etc. cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. So this is a quote of Prabhupada from 1.8.42. So we see that many such quotes of Srila Prabhupada and many senior Vaishnavas, Acharyas. Once His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, was asked by one devotee, says, Maharaj, you have so many people think you as, friend. Everyone says you have such nice relation with you. What is your strategy? What is your strategy to deal with people? How do you deal with people? What is the strategy? And Maharaj says, I'll give a very quick reply. Maharaj says, strategies are for projects. For people, it is directly from heart. This is what Maharaj said. Strategies are for projects. For people, it is directly from heart. It is feelings, it emotional dealings with people. That's what he said. So, feelings are not only natural, but they are also integral part of a sadhaka's journey in Krishna consciousness. Because that's our goal. Krishna prema. Prema is a feeling actually. If that is the goal, we want to develop feelings for Krishna. But if we have no feelings now in our bhakti process, then how will we develop that ultimate goal of, ultimate feeling? How will it come? So sometimes devotees feel that that feeling has to come by the purificatory process of bhakti, right? One must perform bhakti yoga to actually get those spiritual emotions, which will come eventually for Krishna. So there is a very beautiful book by Srila Prabhupada, one Prabhupada disciple called as Purna Chandra Prabhu, Unspoken Obstacles on the Path of Bhakti. Very interesting book. So there he says, he very elaborately, and a part of it I am going to refer today. So he says, should we wait until purity arrives, perhaps bhava bhakti, before we engage our present feelings in Lord's service? What about the feelings that we have now? If it is a living symptom, Prabhupada said, right? Life hai to feelings hai. And if we are living, that means feelings are there. Then should we just negate them or should we engage them? He says, yes, right now we have to engage feelings, whatever we have, in the service of the Lord. So feelings are important in the process of purification itself that we are practicing. Prabhuji explains. So the example also is Srila Prabhupada, himself said, Srila Prabhupada gave many such instructions. Once he told his disciples, and I think it is in a letter, Prabhupada says that preach with courage of an Englishman and a heart of Bengali mother. So while preaching, while spreading this, so courage of Englishman, but heart of a Bengali mother. That means, what is there in the heart of a Bengali mother? Is love, sensitivity, appreciation, encouragement. This is motherly, right? Motherly, sensitive feelings. Prabhupada says we should have it. We should have the courage also. We should have the heart of a Bengali mother also. Elsewhere, Prabhupada said one should be lion at chase and a lamb at home. When you're preaching, should be lion like, but when you come home, in the association of devotees, like a lamb. Srila Prabhupada also said Iskcon is an office and home, right? Iskcon is office as well as home. Now, office has more of official things, right? Strategies, policies, and everything. But home has emotions. There are feelings between people of home. There are family members. They are emotionally connected. Prabhupada said this Iskcon is a movement. Movement means something dynamic which moves. But Iskcon is also shelter, which doesn't move. Right? That's a shelter where people want to go and relax. It's a shelter. So it's a movement as well as it's a shelter. So there is one scholar, his name is Klaus, I think it's very tough to pronounce, Kloste Mayer. So Maharaj, Prabhuji, Purnachandra Prabhu quotes this. This person is a chairman and professor in the Department of Religious Study at the University of Manitoba, Canada. So he actually met Prabhupada many times in Vrindavan, this person. He was in Vrindavan, I think, and he would meet Prabhupada frequently in Vrindavan. So he writes, this scholar, he writes, little difficult, he says, Western mainstream religions throughout the past few centuries had tried to rationalize their traditions, to repress emotions, and to conduct services like business meetings. What does it mean? Simply that the Western religion for last few centuries, there's no emotions there. It's just a formality. What do you call it? Services means they come together, the prayer meets, everything. Like a business meeting. There's no emotional connect. And then he says, in contrast, Bhaktivedanta Swami preached a religion that was not afraid of emotions. These are his words. Bhaktivedanta Swami preached a religion that was not afraid of emotions. That means these feelings, these emotions are very much a part. Srila Prabhupada rather encouraged. Prabhupada rather feels, he condemns Mayavadis who don't have emotions. So Prabhupada encouraged having feelings and emotions this time. So we have three kinds of emotions and feelings. We can categorize them into three categories, I was feeling. One is divine feelings, pure feelings which we should develop, we must have, like feelings of gratitude for Guru and Krishna, dependence on Krishna, right? Gratitude for Vaishnavas. These are divine feelings which we must have in abundance, but we have very less. There is something for sure, but very much dearth of it. So they are divine feelings. Then we also have some humanly feelings. They're not necessarily with Krishna in picture, but they are like dealings with each other, like sensitivity, appreciation, accommodative, being empathic, empathy for others, sympathy, compassion, while dealing in this world. So there are humanly dealings, the emotions. They are there, but sometimes we may try to just negate them, or or we may just try to neglect them. But how to utilize them? So we will talk about that. And third thing is we have demoniac feelings, envy, jealousy, arrogance. These are also feelings. So they are also excessive lamentation, inferiority complex, superiority complex. These are all demoniac. They have to be given up, but we have them in abundance. Conditioned soul have a lot of them. They have to be given up. The divine feelings have to be nurtured, developed, nourished, and human feelings, they should not be negated completely. They should be channeled properly. Like Bharat Maharaj felt the affection for that small deer. None of the acharyas condemns that feelings which he felt, but it became excess. That is the cause of trouble, right? But it's appreciable. As a Vaishnava, there was a feeling for that suffering jiva, which is glorified. So how to deal with all three of these emotions? We'll just quickly try to see that. The divine, pure spiritual emotions, as I said, Prabhupada also recommends we should increase them more and more. There are many quotes of Srila Prabhupada. I'll not spend more time here. Like um, Prabhupada says in the first canto 8 chapter 26 purport, Prabhupada said, actually the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterances. It depends on the quality of feeling. So there Prabhupada says when we chant Hare Krishna, there should be feeling, the divine feeling of dependence. Prabhupada gives example of a small child being dependent on mother. Like that you should feel dependent on Krishna. So nurture that dependence on the Lord. Then another 1:6:26:22 Prabhupada says, a living being cannot be vacant of desires. He cannot be a dead stone. He must be working, thinking, feeling and willing. But when he thinks, feels and wills, materially he becomes entangled. But when he feels for the service of Lord, he becomes gradually freed from all entanglement. So Prabhupada recommends, and then there are so much, we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, how devotees have such feelings for the Lord, for each other. So these are all divine feelings which should be nurtured. The Mahabhagavad devotees show by their example. Then there are second kinds of feelings. As I said, they are humanly feelings. They are apparently non-harmful feelings. Why apparently? If they have done excess, then they are harmful. But they are also part of life, and they should also be. They are also important, like affection, compassion, appreciation, sensitive dealings, accommodative, being grateful, like that. So, Purnachandra Prabhu says, if we avoid feelings and emotions out of fear or simply to escape material entanglement, that avoidance may take us to the first base. I mean, that may take us to zero, right? But we will never make it all the way to home without devotional feelings. Like home means spiritual world. So you can come to, by negating feelings, you come to zero. But if you want to go on the positive axis of bhakti, then these feelings have to be appreciated and cultivated. At some point of time, we will have to deal with them. I'm quoting him directly. So we see Srila Prabhupada's example also, and from scriptures also, how these kind of dealings, Srila Prabhupada and previous acharyas have also expressed and nurtured, right? Like uh, one of this is like appreciation for the little service rendered by someone. So there is a interesting pastime of Srila Prabhupada. So once Prabhupada was in some place and Bhurijan Prabhu came. So Bhurijan Prabhu himself told his pastime. Bhurijan Prabhu came and to meet Prabhupada, he offered $200 as collection. Prabhupada, this is from my side, I have collected some. Prabhupada was beaming with smile, very happy. Oh, very nice, you have collected 200 rupees, Bhurijan, very wonderful. Bhurijan Prabhu went out. Tamal Krishna Maharaj came in. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj gave $10,000. And Prabhupada says, that's it? What did you do? You are not serving properly? Prabhupada chastised him. And when Tamal Krishna Maharaj went out, Bhurijan Prabhu was outside. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj told him this. Bhurijan Prabhu was so surprised. I gave $200 and Prabhupada was so happy. You gave $10,000 and he's still not happy with you. And then he reflects. He says, Prabhupada was happy with the endeavors. He knew, okay, Bhurijan Prabhu, he humbly says this, so I'm quoting him. He says, my capacity was this and I have done my best. Prabhupada was happy with that. Prabhupada didn't see the result which was coming. Prabhupada says, okay, this person has put his best. This person has much more capacity, has not done his best. Prabhupada was not satisfied. So it was not the quantity. Like In Bhagavatam, we have that very famous verse describing Vaikuntha, where all these beautiful flowers are very happy with Tulsi. Yasmin tapaha sumanaso bahumanayanti. It is said, Tulsi does not have great fragrance, Tulsi does not have beautiful flowers, but Tulsi has done great tapa. She has done great tapasya. And that is what is respected by everyone else. She doesn't have great results, but she has tapasya. So this is sensitivity, this is appreciation for, this is feelings actually for others. Okay, Prabhu has done, such nice sacrifice, such nice servants. Let us appreciate, let us feel for it. Then also there is sensitivity. Sensitivity in, like Vishishla Prabhupada's example, how Prabhupada has emotions. Like, once, that famous story when somebody has an injury on feet, some devotee, and Prabhupada is himself, this is 77. Prabhupada is very weak. Prabhupada stops the palanquin and says, okay, what happened? Write a medicine. And Prabhupada inquires again and again. This is feelings. Prabhupada didn't say, oh, did you not hear my lecture? You are not this body. No, Prabhupada did. Feelings, and he sensitively cared. There is another, very interesting, Sham Sundar Prabhu, in the initial days, he went to jail because he was dealing with drugs. And then he goes to Prabhupada and says, and when he comes out of jail, he's so guilty. And Prabhupada also understands. Prabhupada wants to correct him also. Give us, don't do it again. Prabhupada wants to tell. And Sham Sundar was already feeling guilty. And Prabhupada is so sensitive. Prabhupada is such an amazing thing. Prabhupada says, and Sham Sundar Prabhu is telling, why did you go to jail? Prabhupada, I was dealing with drugs. I was like, okay, don't mind. Krishna was also born in jail. And I was also dealing with drugs. But don't do it again. Now don't do this. Prabhupada understood that. but Prabhupada made the whole thing so light that Sham Sundar Prabhu didn't feel heavy with that whole thing. Correction, right? So that is how Srila Prabhupada, very sensitively Srila Prabhupada did. Obviously, sometimes Prabhupada became very extremely angry also. There is one story in Leelamrit where Vrindavan temple opening was delayed. Well, Prabhupada came for opening and nothing was there. It's just construction site. Prabhupada becomes like fire. Only for some time. You can read Leelamrit. Only within 1 hour, they are laughing, joking. Prabhupada is normal, back to square one, as if nothing happened. Satswarup Maharaj writes. Then again, Prabhupada, okay, fine. Some mistake has happened, let's rectify. When can we open? After 1 year? After 1.5 years? That is the discussion. And everyone is just. So, there is a very interesting story in the Srimad Bhagavatam about Akrura. Akrura was such a great devotee. We read about him coming to Vrindavan, falling and meditating on the Lord. And later on, in the Shamantaka jewel pastime, Akrura leaves Dwarka and has to go out. So Acharyas say, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that, why Akrura is such a great person, why he had to be separated from Krishna. So then it is explained that Akrura actually offended gopis. When? When he came to take Krishna and Balram to Vrindavan. But no, he didn't offend, that was his duty, that was his service. Vishwanath Thakur says, although it was his service assigned by Krishna, he should have been mindful to do it properly, sensitively. This is what Vishwanath Thakur says. It's a service to do it, but do it. He says he had to take Krishna and Balaram, that was Krishna and Balaram's desire only, but he should have at least tried to pacify gopis' hearts. He behaved impersonally. Vishwanath Thakur, he behaved impersonally. That is the reaction which came as separation from Krishna. He could have tried. Obviously, gopis would not have been pacified by Akrura, but he could have tried his side. So, while we also behave in the devotee association, we also, sometimes no, that's the service. But okay, how do we do it? Can we do it more sensitively for others? Take care of others' feelings and emotions. So that is what it means that, these feelings, but obviously Prabhupada wants that we should not overdo it. In the sense, Prabhupada told, and now time is over. Prabhupada says a very interesting story, which Prabhuji quotes. He says that, that famous story, that Prabhupada was actually looking, and then he saw in the other home next door, one lady, mother, was beating the child very much. Prabhupada said, what happened? Prabhupada sent his servant, go find out what happened. Servant came back and said, this fellow, this boy, he has fed his younger brother puris. What is the problem? The younger brother has typhoid and he should not be given this. But the brother wanted, that small kid wanted puris, and without asking mother, he gave. So, Prabhupada says, Prabhupada concluded that if we do not know where and how our sentiments, even kindness and affection, are applicable, then we are under the laws of nature. We could be punished if we do not apply them properly. So these emotions should be applied properly, but Prabhupada doesn't say they should not be applied altogether. We need to exercise caution, knowledge, and reason, but not completely negate them. This is what Prabhupada is saying. That caution, like Bharat Maharaj did excessive. So cautiously apply, but not completely negate them. And then I have another 10 minutes, but I'll just end here. 2 minutes. So there are then the third one. What is the third category of emotions? Demoniac emotions like guilt, lamentation, jealousy, envy, greed, competition. Can pure devotees also have these emotions? Yes. 4 Kumaras had anger. Dhruva Maharaj became angry on Yakshas. Priyavrat Maharaj became lusty. Jadabharat Maharaj, later we will read, he became dissatisfied and agitated. So in Dhruva Maharaj section, in 4th canto, very interesting, I'll just speak this. When Dhruva, Prabhupada says, this is Bhagavatam verse, when Dhruva Maharaj heard of the killing of his brother Uttama by Yakshas in the Himalayan mountains, being overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, he got on his chariot and went on the victory over Yakshas. Sometimes we think that, if we have, as conditioned souls, if there is some lust, there is some anger, greed, which has to be purified, but there should not be overly, demeaning of those. Even you see here, who's that? Dhruva Maharaj. See what Prabhupada writes. I'm reading Prabhupada's purport as it is. Prabhupada writes, Dhruva Maharaj is becoming angry, overwhelmed with grief, and envious of enemies was not incompatible with his position as a great devotee. It was not incompatible. It is misunderstanding, Prabhupada says, it is misunderstanding that a devotee should not be angry, envious, or overwhelmed by lamentation. I mean, sometimes it could happen. These are emotions even great devotees may experience sometime. Obviously, he was corrected later, very lovingly by Manu. So Dhruva Maharaj's feelings were not in connection with the Lord. Dhruva's feelings were negative and even material. But Srila Prabhupada says that it is not incompatible for a devotee. Similarly, there is another purport of Srila Prabhupada about Jadabharat. This is 5:13:24. Prabhupada says, Jadabharat Maharaj, Jadabharat felt waves of dissatisfaction in the mind by being insulted by King Rahuguna. So he felt dissatisfied. He felt that insult, paining his heart. This is not wrong. These kind of emotions will be there. So these emotions, but obviously gradually we have to purify them. So how should we do it? I will just end with this 5-step formula. 5 E's. First, express. Express to the right person at right time. These emotions inside, these negative emotions, they are like volcanoes in the heart. If they are suppressed for a long time, they'll erupt eventually in an ugly way. So express it to right person at the right time. There are many examples in Bhagavatam for that. That's why Krishna says, Nigraham kim karishyate. Don't repress it. Right? Then the second step is seek enlightenment. Second is enlighten. Express, enlighten. So when we express to the right person, a sadhu, a senior Vaishnava, he will enlighten us why this feeling is, how this feeling is proper or not proper, right? The sadhu will clear the fog of vision. Then the third thing, E, is we should seek encouraging association. So we should have such association which show acceptance, which believe in you and give you courage to overcome that feeling. Not someone who will just demean you for that. These feelings will be there. So, okay, we have to come out of it. So, seek encouraging, enlightenment, and then encouraging association where you can actually come out of it. So, no one can be permanently condemned by the Lord. Even Kala Krishna Das, who also in the association of Mahaprabhu fell prey to lust. But he was not condemned of Vaishnavas forever. He was not sent out of Vaishnava. Mahaprabhu was little strict, but then Vaishnavas gave him shelter. We know the story. So this is encouraging association. And the fourth thing is enthusiastic sadhana. Then they actually get into the process, a very enthusiastic, that will purify the heart. And finally, engaging seva. This is part of process. So allow the mind to get absorbed in the constructive offerings of services to Krishna. So when we follow this, then we'll come out of this demoniac. So we spoke about three kinds of feelings. One is divine feeling, nurture them, even if you have little, right? We should nurture them more and more, grow them. And then there are humanly feelings, yes, they should be cautiously applied. We must apply them, but we take care that they don't become excessive, we don't become sentimental on the extreme. And the third one is demoniac. We should give them up. They are there, we should acknowledge it, express it, and take guidance, but gradually by the process overcome it. So that is what one of the lesson which we can learn from this very interesting pastime of Bharat Maharaj. That is what I felt. And there are many more wonderful such lessons which will be discussed in future also. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much. No time, personal. No, it's written here. Yeah. Yes. Become morose or yeah. Yeah. Yes. Um, I mean, okay, in the context of today's discussion, I would just say that how we express, that is important, right? Obviously, there Tamal Krishna Maharaj, as you said, he understood, so he could even take a little comment like that. But if that junior you're talking about is not understanding, then it should be sensitively conveyed. That was the point. How to sensitively, yeah, sit with him, and then we can actually explain properly. Let's see, Prabhu, you're doing this. How much do you study? 12 hours. Then why can't you 8 hours? Do this. Now there is a vacation. Something like this. You give some logic. You even show him his capacity, which he has done somewhere else, right? Like one such example, when one devotee I wanted to encourage him in a similar situation. I knew this devotee previously would work for a college fest. He was the accounts manager for a finance manager. It has logged so much that his feet were swollen because of seva. And the same person, in devotional service, he was feeling, "Nahi, nahi, how will I do?" And I reminded him, just like Hanumanji reminded Jambuvan. I'm sorry. Jamban reminded Hanumanji. I'm sorry. Similarly, you have to show that person that you have the capacity, but it has to be done sensibly. Not that you don't know. I have expectation. You are meant to fulfill it. You don't know. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Your life is West. Then the person will probably, instead of getting encouraged, he will feel discouraged. Then the operation done and patient dead. Operation successful, patient dead. That is not. That is why it should be done sensitively. That's what I was trying to say. That yeah, correction also should be given. Has to. It's part of, very much part of, expectation should are also very much part of it. As we said, being Iskcon being an office, yeah, there are a lot of things which have to be part. But how are they done? That is what is important. Sincere. Thank you. Bye. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.